tonight at 10 on FX. Next day, FX on Hulu.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, it's your homie, FuturisticMike, and I'm back with another Snowfall video if you're new. Now, this is going to be the review and recap for Snowfall Season 4, Episode 8. If you're a fan of Snowfall, if you love Snowfall, hit the like on this video. If you're new to my channel and this is the first time you're finding me, subscribe and turn on those post notifications so when I post videos on Snowfall, you get them. Now, the title to this episode is Betrayal, and there was some major betrayal in this episode, so it's only right that this episode was titled that, because there definitely was some betrayal in this one, man. And it was somebody who I was expecting for episodes and episodes to betray Franklin. We see that she did, and she's been betraying him for a long time. Now, when the episode first starts, we see Teddy, and he's in Nicaragua, man. He went over there to see what's going on with the war and stuff like that. You know, he's doing some coke. He needs it. It seems like he's withdrawing and he really needs that coke. So he sniffs some and then he gets hit upside his head and then he falls to the ground. Now, next we see people in the barbershop reading the article that Irene posted. She really published it for real, and everybody's reading it in the barbershop, and they know that it's Franklin that she's talking about. Then we hear Manboy, Khadijah, and Scully in the back talking, and Manboy is talking about how he's gonna take Franklin's plug. You know, they're talking about how Franklin is working with the CIA because of what's in the paper, and Manboy said he for sure is gonna get to the plug. You know, he's gonna take Franklin's spot. And Scully said he is one scheming ass nigga, which is true. You know, I gotta respect Manboy's hustle, but you know, I'm rocking with Franklin. I've been rocking with him since the beginning of the show, so of course I'm a rock with Franklin. Now, next we see everybody trying to figure out what they're gonna do. What's their next step? You know, everybody's worried, and Jerome, he's still in his feelings about how Franklin kept him in the dark and stuff. They're just wondering how they're gonna get out of this since that article was published, you know, since Irene went and did that, you know, since Elton went and ran his mouth. And this scene reminded me of the scene in season 3 when Franklin was going off on Leon and he said, "I built this shit brick by brick, and I'll be damned if you tear it down because you don't like the way another nigga talk." This scene reminded me of that bad because, you know, Franklin, he was really in his feelings. He said, "Let me take care of this like I took care of every motherfucking thing else." Just the way he said it, man. He said it so fierce. This scene really reminded me of that season 3 scene. And I gotta say, Damson Idris, he's really doing his damn thing on this show, man. He's acting his ass off. Now, next we see Irene talking to somebody she works with, and Wilson brings her over a bottle of champagne that a real big company sent them. You know, a lot of companies are happy at the story that she did. You know, it's a real big story, so she's getting a lot of praise right now. Now, she gets a phone call, and it's Franklin on the phone, and he's like, "Look, this is Franklin Saint." He says, "Do you want to meet up? You don't have the whole story. Do you want to get the whole story?" So she says she wants to meet up with them. Now, next we see T, and she's talking to somebody, and we don't know who she's talking to until he sticks his head from out the fridge, and it's Manboy. And apparently T has been playing Franklin this entire time. You know, she's working for Manboy. Manboy wants her to get Franklin's plug and give it to him or figure it out somehow. He said if she don't do this, then he's gonna kill her and her brother. So T has really been playing Franklin this entire time. And I knew it, man. I called it weeks ago. I don't remember what episode it was exactly, but I called it on my Twitter account, man. I posted on my Twitter that I don't trust T. I said I think she is playing Franklin. And sure enough, she was playing my boy Franklin. Now, next we see Teddy. He's in this other country and he's talking to the girl that knocked him out. You know, he's asking what happened here and stuff. She has him tied up. he's just wondering what's going on because it looks so shitty there. And he's looking for somebody, you know, somebody that he's been in contact with. And it turns out she is dead. Everybody that was in this war, that was in the way in this area, in this country, they're dead. You know, it did not turn out good for them. Now, next we see Havmeyer, and he's looking for Reed, and Gustavo's sitting there reading the paper. It says the CIA and the drug king of South Central. And of course, you know, Gustavo, he's into that shit because he's just as shocked as anybody else. And this dude is looking for Reed. He's nowhere to be found. You know, Gustavo says that he can try the office. So he goes up there and he tries it, but then he comes back down and he says that it's locked. And Gustavo's like, you don't have a key. And he says, no, he doesn't. But, you know, he's trying to find any way he can to get in there. Apparently, he's trying to help Reed. That's what he says. And Gustavo puts the gun at him. He's like, no, this ain't happening. And he's like, look, Teddy works for me. And Gustavo's like, he might work for you, but I don't work for you. Now, next we see Irene go to meet Franklin, and they sit down together. And, you know, Franklin is just saying how he feels. He says, look, you might have wrote that story, but what do you think's gonna happen when the CIA finds out exactly who you are, where you live, and everything like that? And let's say your kids and your ex-husband and stuff, they're in the middle of this now. And she's like, don't you dare put my family into this. And he's like, look, I ain't say I was gonna hurt them, but you're dealing with some dangerous people. I'm just telling you, so you better think about it. And then he tells her good luck and he leaves. We know Franklin will do whatever he has to do to protect his family, you know, his crew, everybody he cares about. I mean, Andre, that's all I gotta say. He did that to Andre, you know, because Andre was so close to busting him. Franklin would do anything to protect what's his. Now, next we see Elton come in the door, and Sissy's surprised because she hears somebody coming in, but she didn't know it was Elton. Now, Elton is saying that, you know, they can pack up and leave together, just them, you know, not Franklin, only those two, because Franklin doesn't get it. He says that they can go to another place, start a new life together. He said he just wants to get away from all this BS, the violence, the drama, the drugs, all that. He said, you know, he misses her, you know, he's been thinking about her, and he just wants what's best for them. He tells her to think about it, and then he leaves. Now, next we see Havmeyer, and he brings some people with him. They go up to the office, and they break in. They're trying to find some stuff. You know, they look everywhere, and then he looks in the safe, too, and he's like, damn, he even got everything in the safe. Now, next we see Louie and Jerome talking, and Jerome is saying that they have to pay respect to Fatback and his family and stuff. And Louie is like, look, you're crazy. There's no way we can go down to that funeral. We cannot do that. Scully and his people will be waiting for us. They think that'll be the perfect time to try us. Like, they literally will be waiting there for us. We cannot do that. And Jerome says, look, I ain't scared of them. And Louie says, look, I know you're mad that me and Franklin lied to you about the CIA and stuff like that, but you can't do this. It's basically them just arguing about whether or not they should go. You know, Louie, she's real irritated. Then we see Teddy with this woman. She untied him. You know, it's nighttime. They're sitting around a fire and they're eating and stuff. And Teddy says that he's gonna have to leave. He said that he's so sorry about what happened there. You know, he wished it didn't happen. It was out of his control. She says, you're going back to the States. And he's like, yeah, I am. He's like, look, you can have this. It's enough for you to go somewhere and start a new life. He set some money there so she could get it and go and restart. And then he walked away. Now, next we see Franklin sitting in the office, and T comes in and she says, how can I help? And Franklin says, you being here is help enough. And she says, look, I know this means you got eyes on you, but if you need anything, and I mean anything, I'm here, I promise. And he's like, look, I appreciate the offer, but I'm good. And she says to Franklin that he doesn't have to do this alone. Then we see Reed wake up, and the girl's gone, and she took the money, so she's going to start a new life. Now, next we see Sissy. There's a knock at the door, and it's somebody that works for Paul Davis. She says she was just getting ready to go down and see him, and the dude says there's no need for that because Paul changed his mind and he's not accepting the money. Now next we see Irene talking to her workers, and they're saying that they can't do this. Irene can't be involved because they can't blow the cover of the CIA officer. His cover will be blown to all his assets and stuff, so they can't do this. And she says, you mean drug and arms dealers? He says, get a CIA officer killed and see what happens. And Irene says he's bringing cocaine into the country to fight an illegal war. You think that's right? And then some people come in because there's gonna be a meeting. Now next we see everybody at the funeral. T came with Franklin. Big Dion says thanks for showing up. And then we see Khadijah sitting in the car with Diamond and Dallas, and they're getting ready to pull up on him and start blasting. And then we see Jerome standing there, and Louie shows up, because she was thinking about not going, and Jerome says thank you for coming. And then next thing you know, Khadijah's car rolls around the corner and starts shooting. All three of them start shooting. Everybody's ducking, trying to dodge bullets. And we hear Jerome just screaming. And everybody's looking like, what happened? And they run over to Jerome, and Louie got hit. She got hit on the right side of her body, like in her ribs on the right side. And Jerome is freaking out. We never seen Jerome like this before, man. Like, he is freaking out. Louie is screaming. Jerome is so emotional. He's so upset. And who wouldn't be at this moment? I mean, damn. I really, really hope Louie survives. I really do. Then we see Franklin looking like he wants some revenge. And then it shows an angle of Jerome holding Louie, and it just zooms out and blood is leaking from her body. Now next we see Franklin at the hospital, and he's talking to Leon, and T comes up and says that she found out that her name was Khadijah, the girl that started shooting. And T says that she can find out who the other two were, and when she does, she'll page him. Now next we see Irene talking to Henry, and he says if they won't fight this fight, then why should you? And she says, because I refuse to wake up every day and know that I had the truth and I didn't fight it. And then Henry says, I'm not gonna let you go off alone, you can stay with me. And she says no, and then he's telling her like how she's not like anybody else and that he's so proud of her. And then he grabs some stuff before he leaves. Now next we see T calling Manboy, and she's telling Manboy about how Louie got shot from Khadijah and her girls. She's talking about how Khadijah could have got her instead. And Manboy says, damn, Jerome's about to be on a warpath now. And T says there might be a way I can still get this done. And Manboy says, so get it done, what you still talking to me for? Now next we see Reed. He gets home, and Havmeyer's getting ready to tell him something. It doesn't show what, but we know what he has to say. Now next we see Franklin talking to his mom at the hospital, and he's saying that everything's gonna be all right. And then she tells him that Paul Davis is out, and Franklin says, damn, they're just scared, but they'll be back. They'll definitely be back. And Sissy says she doesn't know about anything anymore, and she's moving away. And Franklin says, oh, so you're moving away with Elton, huh? And she says, no, not Elton. I'm just tired. I can't do this anymore. And then Franklin says, look, everything's gonna be fine. We'll take care of all this. Everything's gonna be just fine. Okay, I promise. And Sissy just doesn't have anything to say. You can just tell by her face that she is just so tired of everything. And then Franklin gets a page, and he tells his mom that he has to go, and he goes to meet Reed, and it's about what was in the paper. Reed says, how can you let this happen? And Franklin says, because my dad, he found out everything, and he told the reporter. How you think it happened? And then Franklin tells him about Louie, and he's like, oh damn, I'm sorry that happened, but we got to get this reporter under control. If the second part gets published, we are screwed. Reed says that he has his people trying to stop the second part from being published, and Franklin says he already tried to talk to the reporter and it didn't work. And Reed says, you let me handle the reporter from here on out, but what are we gonna do about your dad? Now next we see Franklin walking back up to the hospital, and Leon, Jerome, T, everybody sitting outside. And Franklin asks how Louie is, and they said that she's stable. And then he asks if his mom's still there, and they say no, she left. And then Jerome says when all this is done, he's gonna get the people that did this. We see Leon and T go up to Franklin, and T says, man, I've been paging you. He's like, what do you got for me? And she says, Diamond and Dallas, that's who Khadijah was with. She said they used to be dancers, but now they're straight hustlers. She said there's something else I heard when I was trying to get information. Man boy's after your plug. Leon's like, man, everybody wants the plug. That's no secret. And T's like, yeah, but Drew's been leaning into it heavy, like borderline obsessed. She said there might be a way you can avoid a war. Offer to give man boy the plug, and he might be able to talk Khadijah down. Leon's like, man, Tiana was his niece. You think he's gonna let that shit go for a plug? She says that Drew is a businessman and nothing is more important to him than his money. So Franklin says, let me think on it. And T goes to sit down. And Leon says, look, even if we get him to agree and he gets the plug, there's no way we can trust that he's gonna keep his word. And Franklin says, nope, we can't trust any of it. And he's thinking about what Reed told him, because Reed told him when they met up that he shouldn't trust anybody from here on out because of the thing with his father. And Franklin says to Leon, whatever happens, keep Jerome here. I'll be back. And then Franklin made this look, man. He had this look on his face. And when he had this look, I just knew it was over, man. I knew it was over with from this look. He told Peaches to go get the car. And I just knew that it was over for a certain individual, man. I knew that he found some shit out. I just knew that he put the pieces together and he put two and two together. Then Franklin goes over to T and he says, go home and make the call. Tell Drew I'll make the deal and page me once it's done. I got some shit to do. Then we see Jerome go into Louie's room and he's just losing it, man. You know, he's sitting there by her bedside. He has his hands up on her body and he's just crying, man. Jerome is losing it. I really, really, really hope Louie is going to be okay, man. We cannot lose Louie. Now, next, we see Irene. She's sleeping and Reed and Gustavo broke in her house. You know, Gustavo has his hand over her mouth. They got on gloves and stuff. And Reed is injecting her with something. And he says, look, you're going to wake up tomorrow, but next time you won't. Now, next we see Jerome leaving Louie's room, and he is just super emotional. He's saying to Leon that we need to go get them right now. Like, we need to go get the straps and ride down on them right now. And Leon's talking about how Franklin wants them to stay there and they shouldn't do it. And Jerome says, F Franklin. We gotta go do this shit right now. My baby's laid up in that room. Man, she's all messed up, got tubes up in her and everything. We're going to do this right now. We're making them pay. Jerome is about to be on a straight war path. I can already see it, man. This dude is super messed up about Louie getting shot, and I don't even blame him. Now, next we see T call Manboy, and she says, okay, he'll give you the plug, but you just gotta convince him that you'll get Khadijah to back down. She says, stall Khadijah long enough to make it seem real. He said, how long till I get the plug? And she said, first, I need the rest of my money and your promise that my brother's gonna be okay. So Manboy promises, even though he really don't mean that shit. And she says, just so you know, Jerome and his crew are talking a lot of shit. They're gonna come at you tonight. And he says, let them come. But she got off the phone with Manboy. She made the deal with him and everything. And then this part right here was hilarious. T gets off the phone, right? She sits down in her chair in her living room. Next thing you know, you see a cane and some feet walking up behind her. I just knew it was over, man. I started cracking up so hard at this part, it wasn't even funny, man. I started cracking up. I mean, I was so weak, man. I was on the floor laughing because I knew it was Franklin. And he's like, hey, T, how long you been playing me? And Peaches got a gun on her and everything. And I just knew it was bad for T, man. I just knew it. And that right there is the end of the episode. And that's why it's titled Betrayal. I knew there was going to be some major betrayal in this episode because of the title. I just didn't know who it was going to be. I thought maybe like a major character that's been here from the beginning was going to betray another major character. I didn't know it was going to be T. I mean, I knew T was shady for a while now. I just didn't think this episode was titled Betrayal because of her. But she definitely betrayed my boy Franklin. But this was a solid ass episode. It's definitely going down in the next one. You know, Franklin found out that she's on some bullshit, so I can't wait to see what Franklin does with T. You know, Peaches had the gun on her, so I can't wait. What did you guys think of this episode? I thought it was dope. Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. What are your theories, thoughts, predictions, and everything else? Keep supporting your boy, and I'll be continuing to bring y'all Snowfall content in the future. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you can never miss a video. If you guys want to donate to the channel, I got links below to the PayPal and Cash App accounts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me get out of here, y'all. It's your boy FuturisticMike, and I'll talk to you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.